Hello, everyone out there. It is Allison Henderson. This is Listening with Your Eyes, LinkedIn Live, and we're coming to you at noon Central today because I had a meeting in the city this morning, and with traffic, it's an hour and a half commute, and reminding me why I don't do morning coffee meetings before 10 on a normal basis. So we missed this morning, but I am happy to come to you right now to talk about negativity and why it is so prevalent and how we can use our body language to overcome this. I find for speakers and those that are leading meetings, this idea of negativity kind of ruling our brain is something that is very useful to understand. And I encourage everybody to pick up The Science of a Happy Brain. This is a book by Dr. J. Kumar. He was one of our TEDx Wrigleyville speakers, and his talk, How to Heal America's Traumatized Brain, just premiered last week. And if you go to www.tedxwrigleyville.com, you can watch his talk right now, even before it's fully uploaded onto the TEDx site. And Jay's a phenomenal speaker, and I'm not even all the way through the book, but there is so much that we align on, and I'm going to ask him if he can join us some morning right here to talk more about this. But right now, I want to talk about something that he calls in the book the Stone Age tribe brain. And what this really means, it's what I always talk to you about your caveman brain, or I'll talk to you about your reptilian brain. It really is that early center of our brain, which was in charge of fight or flight and all of the things that keep us safe. Because our brain is worried about our safety and our ability to procreate, frankly. And it overrides a lot of the other things. And one of the great points that Dr. J makes is that, your brain isn't concerned with your happiness. And that's why we have to do so much work on our own happiness and on our own joy and peace and calm and all of those things, because our brain just likes the stress and those other things more, because when there's stress and when there's anxiety, those are the things that kept the caveman safe. So for example, if that caveman was out, and I've used this example before, if the caveman hears a branch snap in the woods, the caveman better assume that it is a predator about ready to jump out and eat him, rather than just thinking, oh, maybe it's a squirrel that stepped on it. Because if a squirrel comes out of the woods, sure, caveman's fine. Predator, some kind of big cat, some kind of bear, some kind of lion, anything that's going to choose him for dinner is not a good situation to be in. And therefore the caveman runs away or finds shelter, climbs a tree, something in order to protect himself. And so our brain is geared to automatically go there. And another point that Dr. J makes is everything can be going really great in your life that day, but one terrible thing happens and it overrides all of the great things that just happened during the day. And that is why gratitude journals are so important and all of these things. What does this have to do with body language again? Well, I believe that we can use our body language, that body-brain connection, to override or help to override the negativity piece of this, where we go down that rabbit hole of our life is terrible. I'm not making enough money. Oh my gosh, I really am not good at sales. Or this other person got promoted ahead of me. What is that? My team's not doing great. All of these things that become really negative, negative, negative. We can use our body language to sort of overcome that. It's very similar to, I guess, people that use tapping and things, to align themselves and to connect with the meridian line and things. And so, the tapping EFT is where you tap on certain points of the body, and then you repeat mantras as you go. It really does work. I encourage you to look it up. I just know what it is and how to do it. I'm not really an expert in teaching somebody else. So all of these things kind of combine, and it's physical. It's something that we do to help our brain. Some other simple things that you can do, particularly for those leaders, or as I think I mentioned, and if I didn't, I should have, when you're giving speeches or presentations. I wonder if any of this has happened to you guys out there. And if it does, put it in the chat that, oh my gosh, yes, absolutely happens to me. When you're giving a talk or you are presenting to your team, the one person that is not engaged, or that you notice is looking on their phone or seems to be typing something else, or gets up and walks away and actually takes a call while you're in the middle of speaking, you start to fixate on that person, because it's as if we bear the burden somehow of bringing them back in and making them listen and engaging them. And we start to think, oh, this must be a terrible presentation. Everybody is so bored, putting everybody, one person representing the entire group, rather than looking for the people that are engaged. So that is number one. Particularly talks at networking meetings and things like that. Half the time, the people in the meeting, they're not coming. I'm going to be really frank with you right now. They're not necessarily coming to hear you. They're coming to meet the friends that they've already made in this group, or they're coming to make a connection that they think is going to further their business. They are, and if you're not that person, they are really kind of tuning out to the content. And in those instances, particularly, find the people that are nodding, find the people that are engaged, and talk to them and give them props. Mention them. Oh, I notice. Hey, over there. Oh, what's your name in the floral print blouse? Oh, Sandy. Sandy, thank you so much for nodding and just following along with me today. It really makes me feel good, and I really hope that this content is serving you today. Right? You can call them out, make them feel good, because they're the ones that are engaged. Reward them. The other way that you reward them is by keeping your body language open and positive. What tends to happen is when those gremlins, that stone age tribe brain, starts to go, oh no, let's flee this situation because people are bored and are not engaged, then you either sink down, your voice tends to maybe crack, or you stumble over your words, and that just starts the cycle, or you become very distracted, as I'm starting to become distracted. Not only are they finishing my roof today, which maybe they just finished pounding right before, or they're taking lunch break right now, but they're also trimming trees. The village has decided to come and trim the trees in front of my house today. So anywho, there's a lot of distractions going on in my world, and there's a lot of noise. So I apologize for that. I probably should have put headphones on. Anyway, when these things happen, you have to uber focus yourself on the people that care, on the people that are engaged. That's one. You can, as I said, reward them by calling them out. You can give them really positive body language. Make sure that you're nodding their way, making a little eye contact with the people around the room that are engaged. And really, you have to let the other folks go. Secondly, I encourage you to find what makes you happy. Find if it's a dance move, if it's a pose. I think I've mentioned this before on this weekly stream because it works so well. It bears repeating. I know that many of you have been introduced to Amy Cuddy's work and the putting your hands on your hips or reading a newspaper really wide, going into the bathroom before your job interview. And and now I'm distracted because I see the wings in my my arms. Anyhow, that's what happens when you don't turn off self view. But if you're familiar with Amy Cuddy's work and all of this, this positive stance, right, which raises your endorphins and does a lot of great stuff for you, makes you feel more powerful. Find something that makes you feel good. It's the same thing as athletes that play their favorite song before they go out and do something. And many speakers do this as well. They have a very routine set of steps that they do before they walk out on stage, and actors and lots of people. Find that for you. You will be surprised and amazed at how well it works. I have a certain music that I listen to during my morning meditation that I've just gotten into. And, it is absolutely not the same if it's not playing. And it is just something that I associate with the ability to be calm and collected and centered and all of these things. The same can be for you. It can be an upbeat kind of music, perhaps, or even if you don't have a soundtrack to this particular thing, find something that you do that makes you feel good. Maybe it's twisting. For women, for a lot of women, there's a twist involved in it because this twist is flirty and it's also kind of, I'm all that. It gets us hyped up and ready to go. Not necessarily, I suppose, for men. I guess I've never really asked. But I do know for women, this is something when I've done this as an exercise with large groups of people, there's often a twisty movement that comes from them. And I think that is because of that sexy, I'm powerful sort of thing. And it could be something that relates to your childhood that always made you feel good. Maybe it's imagining a place and physically what did you do while you were there. If you love roller coasters, do you just need to put your arms up in the air and feel the breeze of the roller coaster? If you enjoy gardening and you had a really beautiful rose bush this year, do you just imagine yourself in the movement could just be taking in the aroma of that rose bush, right? There's a movement that you can do. Now, here's the other trick. When you're in that moment where you need to connect to that happy place, you do that movement. I know there's probably a lot of you, I paused on purpose, who are going, what? I'm just going to throw my hands up in the air? Well, it doesn't have to be that large, obviously. You could be in the middle of your talk and do a little thing. Or you could even say, who's with me? Right? Throw a question in there and throw your hand up in the air because that reminds you of that happy thing. Or if it's that breathing in of the smell of the roses, you don't have to do a huge gesture, but you could give yourself a little moment before and during a transition in the talk. Maybe you go to grab your water bottle and you just take a second because everybody lets speakers have that moment, right? So maybe you just turn to the side and you give yourself a little, as you take in the water bottle, there's just a little breath that comes in there, right? You can stop in the middle of your talk and ask everybody to breathe with you. We need to take more risks when we are leading our teams and when we are giving presentations, because those risks will be remembered. It's going to connect you to your audience and it's going to take you to those happy places, which combats your negative brain and bringing into happy brain. Okay, everybody, I'm going to let you get back to lunch. But I do definitely encourage you to pick up Science of a Happy Brain. He also has another book. Does it say on here? Yes. Brain, Body, and Being, which is another one I'm going to have to get. But I trust me, I will try to get Jay to come on and tell us more, and more specifically about the neuroscience behind this negativity and how we can use our bodies to override and be happier people. Think about it. If you can do just a couple little things during the day as you're talking to people to override this negativity and keep things lighter, happier, more engaged, more centered, it's going to go a long way for you personally, professionally, spiritually, emotionally, and then, of course, financially. All right. Have a fantastic day. Go enjoy your lunch. Share this with your community. If you're catching the replay, thank you so much for watching. Make sure that you connect with me on LinkedIn, not so much on Instagram, I admit it, and Facebook. I don't really use those, but LinkedIn is my jam. If you want to connect with me or visit my website, www.movingimageconsulting.com, and you can connect with me there as well. And there's so much on my YouTube channel. I encourage you to check out the YouTube channel too, where all of these different broadcasts live. Have a great day, everybody.